All right, we're ready to assemble our bag, and we're going to start by making the front of the bag. I designed this one so that it's got a hidden magnet underneath here so that when you close your flap, it fastens and you don't have an ugly piece of Velcro or something in there detracting from your bag. So the first thing we're going to do is attach our magnet to our soft and stable, and we want to make sure that it is positioned right in the right place so that our flap comes down. So we're going to mark some lines, and your pattern's going to describe exactly where to mark them. First, we're going to mark a horizontal line across the top that's going to be where we align our fabric with the top, and then we want to find the center down a certain distance for attaching the magnet. We're going to use a little sew-in invisible magnet, and these are really, really strong, so we're going to put it underneath our fabric and cover it with the texturized fabric so that it's got some stability over it. When you look at these magnets, they come in a set, and there will be one that's marked positive and one that's marked negative. You're always going to put those together in sets. There's also going to be a right side and a wrong side. The right side is flat, the wrong side has a dot on it, and the magnets are going to be much stronger if you put them together with the right sides together. So we're going to put this on our soft and stable with the dot side down, and the pattern's going to remind you of that. We're just going to center it on the lines that we've marked, and then we're going to stitch around this. And I like to stitch around it twice so it's good and secure, and I just stitch right along the edge of the little vinyl sleeve that the magnet is attached to. And you can see it's a really strong magnet. It's going to stick to anything metal. As you're sewing with it on your sewing machine, it's not too bad when you've got the soft and stable under it, but if you have it just on fabric, all of a sudden it will just stop because it's hit the metal foot plate on your machine. You're going to have to give it a little push to get it to move along. But we're going to get that sewn in place, and then we're going to put our textured fabric panel right on top. So we'll lay this on top, and we're going to line it up so that it's even on this top line and within the lines that are marked coming down the sides, because we want it to be nice and centered on here so that we don't run out of soft and stable on the sides. We'll put that in place, and then we're just going to stitch 1/8 of an inch from the edge all the way around this piece. The reason I'm doing 1/8 of an inch seam is that when I sew the sides on, I'm going to sew those with a 1/4 inch seam, and I don't want you to see the stitching that was used to attach this. So we're doing this in parts. We'll do the center, then we'll do the flanges, then we'll do the outside. So center first, so 1/8 of an inch all the way around. If you have a walking foot, that helps the layers move together evenly. If not, I prefer using my 1/4 inch foot. I just use my stiletto to hold the layers together so that things don't push away and get wonky at the end. So I'll get my center sewn in place, and then I'm going to attach my flanges. And these are the little pieces that give you the fun little pop of color right along each side of your textured strip. They're just 1 inch wide. Fold them in half and press them, and they're cut longer than you need, so you can let them hang off on each end. You don't have to worry too much about getting them placed exactly. And I'll stick a few pins in to hold those in place, and then I'm going to go stitch those, again sewing 1/8 of an inch from the edge so that my stitching line is hidden when I add my sides. So I'm going to do one on that side, one on this side, and then I'm ready to add the sides of my front. So I've got 2 of those. I've cut those out according to the templates that are in the pattern. One's going to go on each side, so I position them so I know I've got them right one on each side, and then I also want to make sure that it's even at the top with this, and then I fold it over on top of this piece, and I'll again put a few pins in there to hold those together, and I'll take that to my sewing machine and I'll sew that with a 1/4 inch seam. A 1/4 inch seam there, a 1/4 inch seam there. Because the soft and stable is polyester, it doesn't hurt to iron on it, so once I have those sewn in place, I'll press them to set the seam, and then I'll press them out and get everything pressed really nicely. I'm going to take that pin out so I can lay it out. So I'm going to have my whole front of my bag assembled, ready to go, everything sewn together. I'm going to take this to the machine and stitch all the way around this piece, sewing 1/8 of an inch from the edge, and then I'll meet you back here. Okay, we've got the back of our bag ready to go, the front of our bag ready to go, and it's time to join those to make the outside of our bag. So we're just going to put those together with our right sides together, and we're going to line up our seams on each side. We'll stick a few wonder clips on each side to hold those together, and then we're going to sew each side together with a 1/2 inch seam. So I've got both my sides sewn with a 1/2 inch seam, and now I want to press those seams open. I like using my little mini board from Clover for this. I can slide this on and press my seam really nicely right here at my sewing space. So I'm going to press that seam open up and down, and then I'm going to sew my bottom seam with a 1/2 inch seam. And that one is sometimes a little more difficult to get onto a board because I've got my sides already sewn, so I usually just lay that right on my board and I just press one way. If you want, you can flip that over and press this side over too, but I find one side's enough. Once I've got my sides and bottom sewn together, then it's time to do my boxed bottom in here. So I'm just going to bring my side seams even. I'm going to put a clip on to hold that. I'm going to do the same on my other boxed bottom, bringing my side and my bottom seams even. Put a clip on there, and then I'm going to sew each of those with a 1/4 inch seam. And when I'm done, I'm going to have the outside of my bag all ready to go. And I'll turn that right side out, and then I'll get my lining ready to go, and I'll join those. So I'll show you that next.